Hey guys, it's Libby, and I am still in my parents' house, which means I have access to my mom's Regency Romance novels from the 70s. So if you think I'm not going to talk about the clothes on the covers, you do not know me. Get ready for it. It is Rating Book Cover Costumes. I don't have a good title for this. The Regency Romance edition. Now, before we get into the ones from the 70s, there are a couple of more recent Regency Romance novels that I want to talk about the covers of. So we'll start with the modern stuff, and then we will move back to the mid-century stuff so we can see who's doing it better. Also, modern Regency Romance covers are currently very much suffering under the plague of 80s prom dresses. And so if I look at stuff from before the 80s, no one's going to be wearing an 80s prom dress. I think the older ones might actually be better than the newer ones. So we're going to start off with one that I have actually read. This is Tessa Dares' Romancing the Duke. Okay, so this dress is not that bad. Her hair is up and a little bit crazy, which is actually perfect for this book because it is a plot point that she has crazy big hair. The waist is at least up high. The sleeves are a little frumpy, but they're fine. Her boobs are in the wrong place because she's wearing a modern bra and not a corset. I suspect that that is a complaint that will be with us until the end of historical fiction. It is a little bit prom dressy, mostly in terms of the fact that the fabric is obviously polyester and also very, very red. And it's kind of looking to me like there isn't actually a waistline, like a waistband sewn into this dress. It's just sort of a tent that's been bound at the underbust with this ribbon, which is not period correct. Bodices and skirts were sewn separately. And also, of course, she's wearing modern makeup. But I have seen way worse. So grading on a curve here, I give this a B+. The next one I grabbed is At Last Comes Love by Mary Balogh. Okay, again with the modern makeup. Now, I can't see her eyes, but her lips look like they were done by a makeup artist in 1998. When was this book published? Was it published in 1998? 2009. See, we're doing old-timey lipstick for the old-timey book. It just different types of old-timey. Okay, so modern boob shape, not wearing a corset. The fabric is polyester. I think this orange color is okay. That's a color that they would have been able to achieve, but I don't think it's very likely you would have, like, these dresses are always just so plain. That's part of the problem that I have with modern romance covers, is that, like, in the actual Regency period, they were putting all sorts of random glitz on it, and this is way more boring. Also, weird gathering at the neckline, I think because this dress doesn't actually fit the model. But they did do the silhouette of the dress pretty good. I give this a B. Okay, now we're moving on to one that has tried to solve its problems by being slightly blurred, but you just cannot hide how freaking ugly it is. It is Jo Beverley's A Lady's Secret. So, this bodice, what is it? Is this even a Regency book? It can't be, because this dress is so not Regency. Set in 1764. Okay, that makes me feel better in some ways, but also worse. Okay, her sleeves. Why are they like that? Oh no, wait, before we even get to her, can we talk about him? And this, I can barely see him, but I can see some ruffliness down the front of his shirt. Nope. I don't think men in history, and the 80s doesn't count as history, have ever had, like, ruffle action going down their shirt, and yet people love to make historical men's shirts like that. If you think you're seeing a ruffle, you're seeing a cravat, which is a separate piece of fabric which they have tied and is generally not that ruffly. So, okay, moving back to her, why are her sleeves from the early 1890s? I don't know. Also, are they supposed to be off the shoulder, or has he pushed them down there? Either way, it doesn't work, because if they're off the shoulder, that's not correct for the 1760s or the 1890s, at least not that far off the shoulder, and he's pushed them down. If he's pushed them down there, like, how is that working? Like, there isn't enough fabric to get them down that low. Is this dress way too big for her? Is that a plot point? Maybe. Probably not. Okay, then we have this sweetheart neckline. That's a hard no. Okay, so dresses in the 1760s were closing over a stomacher, which is like a sort of triangular shaped piece of fabric that you pin your dress to down the side, which means all necklines are square until you get a little bit later into like 1770s and definitely 1780s when you're just pinning the dress closed in the front, when you can get a round neckline. But yeah, sweetheart, not a neckline that was happening. Also, let's stick a bunch of ugly bows down the front. I really hate these bows. I should probably explain what I mean by 1890s sleeves as opposed to 1760s sleeves. Okay, so the poof, the shoulder poof, not something that was happening in the 1760s. Also, they're full length. They were not wearing sleeves that went all the way down to their wrists at all in the mid-18th century. If you wanted to cover your forearms, you would wear some mitts. Also, you should have white frilly bits coming out of your sleeves. Don't have any of that. Okay, then the skirt. Well, it's been disarranged a bit, so it's hard to tell what's going on. She doesn't look like she's wearing any hoops, which, like, if you got your nice necklace on and you're sitting around being fancy, you should be wearing your hoops. Dresses did split in front, so I guess it's okay that she's sort of sweeping her skirts away to one side, and I do like that on the underside we can see a different color. We have white going on under here instead of this hideous royal blue, which means she's wearing a petticoat. Yes, I hope there is a petticoat in here. And the stockings. Okay, either the stocking has, like, she's pushed it down so that it stopped right where her garter coincidentally is, or the artist of this book cover thinks that women's stockings in the 18th century had frilly bits at the top. They did not have frilly bits at the top. That would be silly and uncomfortable. You get chafing on your inner thighs. Also, stockings would not go up that high. No one's gonna see up there, unless you're in this sort of situation. So they don't need to cover that. And it's way easier to get a stocking to stay either right below your knee or right under your knee, not hitting mid-thigh. It's just gonna slide back down. They do not have, like, the sticky top thigh highs that we have nowadays. I really hate this cover. It's mainly the bows. I hate these bows so much. I give this book a D-. The final contemporary one, or modern one, is Amanda Quick's Wicked Widow. Now, I did try to see if they would give me a date at the beginning of this. Instead, I got first prologue and second prologue, and then we move into chapter 1. That honestly is not filling me with confidence when you have 2 prologues to your book. Okay, so I'm mainly assuming that this is a Regency novel, because that's mostly what my mom reads, but they have done something very tricky on this book cover. This woman, I believe, is dressed about exactly 100 years too late for the Regency. I think that this is like a 1914 sort of dress. One, the hat. The hat is definitely 1914. I know it's dopey, but ladies in the Regency period were wearing bonnets. They were wearing the dopey bonnets. And you can have people not wearing a head covering, but if you are going to have them wearing a head covering, if you're doing earlier, or I guess later formal wear, you can put them in a turban or a cap, but those are also dopey, or you have to put them in a dopey bonnet. This hat is freaking sexy, and it's 20th century. Okay, the reason you can kind of almost get away with this is that the late Edwardian period was really into the Regency period, and they were like copying a lot of their styles. So you have this high-waisted thing going on, and you have these little poofy sleeves. Those are both good, but this fabric type is really, it looks really thick. Too thick to be Regency, and also the shape of the waistline in the back, not something that would occur in 1814, is something that would occur in 1914, and also the rate of gathers in the back. There's a little bit of gathering along the waistline, but not as much as you would see, because in the Regency period, they're mainly doing their gathering in the back. And you need to gather so that you have enough space at the hemline for you to move your legs to walk. But this is not that gathered, so they're either using shaped panels or there's also gathering in the front. All of this is telling me that it is 1914. So, kind of clever and tricky. Like, at first glance, I was like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good Regency, and then I was like, wait. So, I don't know. I'm really not sure what to say about the execution. If by chance this is not a Regency book and it is set in 1914, I totally give it an A. I don't know. I think I will have to go for like a C- though, because this is not the right period, although it is done well. Okay, now moving on to the mid-century Regencies. There's a lot of Georgette Heyer in here. I just grabbed things randomly. So these are books that have been in the house that I grew up in, like, for my entire life. And I have never seen the covers. So when I grabbed them, I didn't look at the covers. I just grabbed things and then put them down flat. So you will be getting my initial impressions right now. And so I suppose it's possible that I will flip the cover over and there will not be a person on it. Hopefully we've got at least some persons. The first one is a Georgette Heyer. It is the Grand Sophie. Now this edition I think is actually not mid-century, because my mom's mid-century copy of this book she read so much it was falling apart. And so I think my aunts got her a new one Christmas. So let's see what we have. We have no people. Okay, whoops. I was afraid this might happen. Well, it's a very nice house and set of horses. Okay, next book. This is also a Georgette Heyer. It is These Old Shades. Let's see what it looks like. That's not Regency, although it does say a Georgian romance. I didn't know Georgette Heyer wrote not Regency. Okay, well, this is fine. This is actually, like, pretty good. I think the artist was looking at a picture of Madame de Pompadour when they drew this. And one thing I would like to say is that red hair was considered unfashionable in the 18th century, so you'd probably like want to use a lot of powder to conceal that. But her hair is pretty good. There's a little bit too much bun action going on. The bun should be smaller. I'm assuming this is 1760s because that's what it's closest to. But you know, this sort of poofy tête de mouton thing she's got going on, that's fine. The ribbon around her neck, having a ribbon around your neck is period correct for the 1760s, which I'm deciding that this is. But you would tie it in the back. So kind of points there, but then I also have to take points away. Oh my god, her nails are painted. What? Whose idea was this? They did not paint their nails. Okay. She does have all these bows down the front, and I know that I have recently been complaining about bows down the front. These are better bows because they are attached to what looks like a stomacher, and they did do these big bows that like take up your whole torso. I think the one on top is like a little bit too big. They should be more equal sized. But she's got her hoops on. The hoops are a little bit more dome shaped. They should come out a little bit farther before they go down. But this is not bad. All the dumb roses, this is good. The petticoat, you can see that most of it's a light green and then it's got dark green to match the dress. At the bottom, I don't think that's correct. It should either, you can have your petticoat just match your dress and that's fine. Or you can have it not match your dress, but you should not have part of your petticoat matching your dress and part of it not matching your dress. She's also got all these great laciness going on in the sleeves. I like that. She's wearing a bracelet on one wrist and not on the other. That's not what you would do in the 18th century. You want to be very symmetrical. Okay, so that's her. Let's look at this fella. Well, he's got some lacy poofiness going on in the throat region. That doesn't look like a cravat. That looks like a bunch of dumb. His sleeves, I think, are too poofy. He's wearing like a 1740s type of outfit, and she's wearing a 1760s type of outfit. Maybe he's very old-fashioned. Okay, then this embroidery, like the sleeve of his coat has been folded back and embroidered. No. If you want to have embroidery, you're going to put it on your waistcoat, or you're going to put it on the front of your coat, maybe. I don't know, this looks kind of wool-ish. Maybe it's silk, it's hard to tell. Okay, this cover is better than I thought it would be. I give it a B+. Okay, next one. It is The Ardent Suitor by Denice Greenlea. Let's take a look. This is not bad. He looks very good. This is a Regency Romance. Oh, thank you for telling me what the time period is. Whoever this publisher is. Fawcett. Okay, he looks great. I have no complaints. Yeah, it's good. Okay, let's take a look at her. Again, monochrome dress. All these fucking boring monochrome dresses. I mean, they did have them, but whatever. Also, another boring ribbon under the boobs. Like, they did do it, but it's way overrepresented in modern historical costuming. So, like, if you're cool and you do historical costuming now, if you're doing Regency, you do not tie a ribbon under your boobs. That's very old hat. Speaking of hats, she's dressed for evening. I can tell because her dress is like silky, it's got short sleeves, it's got a low neckline, her hair is quite fancy, and then she's got this hat. You wear your hat in the daytime. Also, what kind of hat is this? Because it looks like a modern straw hat with a very high crown, which would make her look dumb. Or if it's a bonnet and it's not, the circle isn't going all the way around, you can tell it's like really flipped back, which means when she wears it, it's gonna be like this. I don't think this hat was well thought through. Also, like, that's a lot of décolletage to not be filling with a necklace. What are you doing? And again, bracelet on one wrist, but not on the other. Symmetry. But her hair is up. Oh, bless her hair for being up. So many modern people, modern Regency Romance covers have hair down and swooping, which is not good. Okay, I like this. The hat is dumb. If we ignore the hat, I give this an A-. With the hat, B+. Okay, is this the Barbara Cartland? Yes, we have the Barbara Cartland. This is the Audacious Adventuress. Let's see what we have. Again, he looks really good. I guess Regency men's outfits are just easier to understand than Regency women's outfits, because what the fuck is going on with her? It doesn't even look Regency. Is this... Are you gonna give me a date at the beginning? No. Okay. Drusilla had captured the most eligible bachelor in Regency London. So we are Regency. Okay. Well, she is from the 60s. Her hair is down. That's a big no-no. They drew on her mascara. Why? I mean, this dress is kind of a mishmash of mid-18th century and mid-19th century. Fun fact, when you average them together, you do not get early 19th century. The waistline is too low. She has a big, stupid bow in front. What's up with this off-the-shoulder neckline? The necklace is fine. Why is there this, like, half-hearted attempt to draw a brocade pattern? I hate everything about what she is wearing, and yet I love what he is wearing. No, D. Don't care if she did a good job with him. She still looks terrible. Okay, now we have Venetia by Georgette Hare. We got this and one more Georgette Hare, and then we're done. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, this is bad. Once again, he looks good. She looks like a 1980s interpretation of a 1780s interpretation. No. Let me start over. A 1980s interpretation of an 1880s interpretation of a 1780s interpretation of a milkmaid. We got a lot of degrees of bad going on here. Okay, she's wearing underwear as a dress. Totally unfitted, unstructured, white. This is underwear. It's controlled only by a ribbon under the boobs. We've talked about this. And it's tied in front, extra ugly. And her hair is down and covered with this very dumb cap. I hate it. And she has bangs. They did not have bangs. And she has modern makeup. I don't know what he sees in her. She must have a wonderful personality, because her clothing sense is the actual worst. Yeah, everything about this is bad. F. Okay, last one. Georgette Heyer's Friday's Child. Let's take a look. Is this set in the 1970s? I must have gotten confused. This is not Regency. This is set in the 1970s when it was published, because that is what these people are wearing. Oh god. New York Magazine says, this nimble, light-hearted chronicle of high London society in the time of the Regency will seem almost too good to be true. Can I just say, while I'm talking about these covers, like, I know that the authors have basically no input in cover design. I am not saying that the stories in here are bad just because the cover design is bad. All my shade is going to the publisher who approved this and the artist who designed this. Okay, so he looks kind of Regency, but the 70s was weird, and they were wearing kind of Regency then too, especially the purple jacket. I could see someone actually wearing this in the 1970s, and his hair is poofy. He's from the 1970s. She is even more from the 1970s. Is this like a time travel book? Are they like not able to be together in the 1800s, and so they move forward and meet each other again in the 70s? Okay, so her hair, it's down and has the volume and the gentle curls that is typical of the 1970s. She has all of the mascara on, as well as some blush and lipstick. That's too much makeup for the Regency period. They did wear makeup. I mean, the 18th century, they wore a lot of makeup. And Regency people still did. It's not like the Victorians where makeup is bad. Yeah, her waistline is at her waist. Her sleeves have a cuff and a ruffle and are kind of poofy. That's from the 70s. They're just from the 70s. It's good 70s. Like, I might buy that dress. But I'm gonna fail it for as a Regency Romance cover. Okay, so who is the winner? Who did it better? 60s, 70s romance novels or modern romance novels? Yeah, this is hard because there are ones that are like actually good among the mid-century books, such as These Old Shades and The Ardent Suitor. But there are other ones that are just so bad. Also, this is a minuscule selection. Okay, I think there is a spider on one of these books. Not anymore. Okay. I think I have to say, overall, the modern books are doing a better job, because there is at least an attempt. There is always an attempt, and sometimes the attempt is reasonably successful, and sometimes it is not very successful. Too many of the mid-century ones, there is just no attempt to depict historical people. So, modern romance novel covers, not as bad as it is possible to be. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this, and if you have any books that you want me to talk about the covers of, either historical fiction or historical fantasy, let me know in the comments and I will get around to them eventually. I have had requests already for Gail Carriger's books, as well as Philippa Gregory and Alison Weir's books, so I will get around to those, but while I was here at my parents' house, I just could not resist some vintage romance. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.